Cape Horn, from New
Welcome.
York City.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Very nice to see you.
Hi, hi, Arnold. Hi, Bernadette. We were in holiday. My family were in holiday to your camping place, and Lacey, Lassie, and we got moments to talk to you, and it was amazing. It was very beautiful to talk to you about a special thing. And Christmas is a special moment for donate and to give money some organizations, and then you were in different countries and you helped there to make some special things. And can you tell something about this?
We've been working in West Africa for about 10 years, Mali and Burkina Faso, and we worked for different development organizations. We have a background in agriculture, so we mainly worked with local farmers and local farmer organizations.
And we worked for several, we got employed by several international organizations. In general, you get a contract for 2 or 3 years. So we've been working for different ones. We've also been working for the deutsche Entwicklungsdienst. That was one of them, but also for an English one and Belgium organization.
And it was always, mainly it was about skill share. So our skills we try to put in benefit for the local farmers.
The local farmers, that they can make the plants grow and that they can help themselves, or
that they can help themselves. Yes, indeed.
Okay, it was easy, or how was it for you as organization, as employer? Yeah.
Entwicklungshilfe is something for me very close to my heart and very important, but of course it's not easy. There's not a very easy formula how to what to do and to how to improve lives of other people. And I think it's everywhere, not only in we worked in Africa, but everywhere. It's a very complicated subject. But nonetheless, of course, very important, because we have been very lucky to be born in the West, and millions and millions and millions of people have been very unlucky to be born in places where there is kind of absolutely nothing. And it's not because they don't work or they are not clever, but there's nothing, there's no infrastructure, there's no schooling, it doesn't rain. So and there's no easy solution for that, but we've been lucky that we were allowed to work with them and exchange ideas and try to find solutions together.
So you talk with the people who live there, and how can I think about this?
In general, we used to work with local governments. So like when we were working for the Deutsche Entwicklungsdienst, we worked together with the Malian agricultural local government. So they have a team with people who support the local farmers. So we were working with those Malian people who were helping or supporting the local farmers. So in general, we didn't work. We were lucky to go a lot with them to the villages, but we were more working with our local partners from the local government than directly with the farmers. So we try to share and elaborate ideas with the local government, who will of course stay there when we are gone and can continue.
It's also because of the language. We didn't speak the local languages. We did speak French. It was French-speaking Africa. So you work with people who've been to school. Most of the farmers have not been to school, so it was very difficult to communicate directly with local farmers, but we communicated with them through our local Malian colleagues.
Mhm. And when we give now, we are in a safe place in Europe, and we give money to our organization. How does it work then? Is there who decide where the money comes to?
Yeah, it's we've both been working for non-governmental organizations as for governments. Like the Deutsche Entwicklungsdienst, it's a governmental organization, so it's from the German government to the Malian government. So that it's the German state budget who spends a part on Entwicklungshilfe and on several countries, and also on Mali. And I think that's mainly then bilateral negotiations where we as workers in the field had nothing to do with, which sometimes also, of course, makes it complicated, because there's this whole lot of bureaucracy on top of you, and you don't know in 2 years' time or 3 years' time if the project will continue. That will depend a lot of the Malian government and the German government, or whatever government. It can be the Dutch government or French government, if they are on friendly terms and continue to collaborate together. And actually, when we were working for NGOs, like charity organizations, it's also, we in the field, we had quite little to say about what was going to happen, how the money was spent. But we have, of course, we have seen, like in any field, in any work you do, of course, we have seen money what was, according to us, wasted on useless things. But we've also seen very good examples. Some organizations far away in the bush with very little means, always being there. Actually, we have seen quite some Catholic, how do you call them? Sisters?
Nuns.
Nuns. Catholic nuns.
Protestant as well.
Protestant nuns as well, completely in the bush without any comfort. And they had like a schooling as a medical schooling, and they were running the only hospital in 200 kilometers, and they were running it 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, their entire life, until they were, against their own will, they were called back to the European country to come home. Actually not wanting, but being 70 or something and not being able to work anymore. And for me, from a non-religious background, it was absolutely an eye-opener. I always thought that religious organizations in Africa, they are there to convince people to get the same religion. But we have seen those nuns working day and night. Maybe one of their drive was their religion. I don't know what their drive was, or humanity. It doesn't matter. They were doing what was necessary there, and they were saving lives. Pregnant women with difficult births, they were saving them. That was very, very, very impressive to see. Yeah.
And did they come from there, or did they come from Europe? I didn't.
They were European.
Yeah,
They were.
European.
Yeah, they were European, but also from. So they were mixed. So some of them from the country itself, and some of them from Europe. We've met French, Italian, Spanish,
German
nuns in completely very hard conditions, and
they're really saving lives.
Yeah, very. We've even met a group of nuns. They had a shelter home for local women which were accused of being witches. And if you're accused by being witch, yes, it was in Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
you're gonna be excluded. You won't get any
Okay.
food, no, nothing. You will, or even be stoned to death. And they were hiding them there. They were protecting them. They were keeping them there, and it was very impressive to see. Yeah. So against all local traditions, just and because a lot of developing organizations, because they have to work there, they try also till how much as they can to respect local culture, but some part of local culture also in our countries is not fair. And these nuns, they were against local traditions, saving women. Was really brave.
Mhm. And men, they don't have problems, and men.
Oh no, they are not witches. No, of course not.
No, but men witches, it doesn't exist. Or
No, don't
it's always
exist.
the women that.
Yeah. It's life in many places in the part of West Africa where we were is hard. So it's even harder when something is going wrong with you, because men who have mental health problems,
Mhm.
they are called like women. They are called in French they're called les fous, like the crazy people. And crazy people, it's also in general, it's kind of they have been possessed by witches also. So men also can, and they have mental health problems. And they're also excluded from society. You see them on the side of the roads.
Okay.
Because they have mental health problems. And that's very painful.
Mm.
So in a way, people there, they take very good care of older people. But like every society, there are also some parts of societies who are not so nice. And so old people are respected and well cared for, and not like in Europe, put away in old people homes. But if you have a mental health problem, you have a real problem there.
Gotcha. Could you do something with this local people when they needed help, or something with the organization, or was that forbidden, or how did it work?
I worked, for example, for Caritas Burkina Faso, and they had also the shelter home for the witches, which you just mentioned, was part of the Caritas. It was not my department because we worked in agriculture, but of course, when you live there, you have what they call the mendiants, the beggars, the people on the street who ask for money. And when you live there, we always had certain beggars. We gave some money,
Who are regulars of us?
which we called our favorite crazy people.
And they were not that crazy, actually, of course. Yeah, they have just normally you used to give them a certain amount of money, and then sometimes we always drove on bicycles or on mopeds, and you pass by and you didn't have enough money in your pocket, and you could only give them a small coin, and then this completely person who looked like you couldn't communicate with at all, he would look at the coin and said, normally you give more, what's this? It was quite funny. But in general, work-wise, our work was more focused on agriculture. And it was a lot on because it was in the Sahel region, so there it rains, but only 2 or 3 months a year. So it rains, but very short. So it was mainly on getting water for the crops. So the water which falls to keep it and to get it into the crops, so that the villages, which are also so the people with mental health problems, they're mainly they leave the villages. If they are born in a village, they go to the city, because there you can still beg, because in the villages there's no one where you can get money from, because they don't have anything. there's no money. And we worked in the villages, which was really nice. If we managed to get to improve agriculture there, you could really see that people had money for buying school books and for if they were sick, going to the hospital. And you could, within a few years, you could see big improvements. And that was really a pleasure to see. It was really, really rewarding. How difficult it also sometimes is to see all these suffering people.
And if you go in a village, is the neighborhood, are they jealous, or how can I think about this? Because the jealousness is also in sure that there is some concurrence thinking, or
Yes, but I didn't notice it. Did you?
I don't know if neighboring villages were jealous. Probably. It could happen within the village. That was actually part of our first part of our intervention. If a village was selected, we would not look at a neighbor village, but we would really look if in the village the entire village would benefit. So not only a part of it, or not only the man, but the entire village. That was also, and sometimes you have different tribes. So you have the people who do agriculture, growing crops, and you have the tribes who have livestock. So that was actually part of the first studies to see if everyone would benefit of it. Because there's a lot also in Europe, but there's a lot, it's very complicated about land rights. So if you would make an improvement, it was possible that it would only benefit to a part of the village. So that was actually quite important, that the entire village would be able to take advantage of it.
Did they help then each other?
Did they?
Help each other also?
Yes. Yes, there is a very big solidarity among villages. Yes.
Yes.
And of course they help to a certain level. You know, the resources are very limited.
Yeah, but if someone has something, he will share.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so you don't go bankrupt in an African village. You can't, because and it's your obligation also from the others. They can't say no. They're not allowed to say no.
Oh.
If someone is in trouble and you have still even 1 penny in your pocket, you have to help. You must help. And also the other way around. It's definitively so. It's in a village, it's very hard that one person gets rich and the others don't. In a city, it's different, but in a village, no, it's a moral obligation. Definitively, there's no, even if you would like to, there's no escaping. Everyone helps each other, and also when the work, so they have a very short period that it rains, and when the rain stops, the soil gets very hard and dries out. So when the next year, when the new rain is starting, the soil is like a rock. It's very hard. Okay. So to plow it by hand, that's actually one of the limiting factors, because they all need to plow the fields on the same time. And because they have 3 months of rain and they all have to start sowing immediately first week. You can't sow before and you can't plow before, because the soil is working hard. And what they then do, because it's always easier when you work together, that they form a group, for example, with 10 people. So today, all 10 people will work on my field. Tomorrow, because when you work with 10, it's easier to motivate yourself. You can sing, and you can make a rhythm. And then tomorrow, they will all work on one of the other fields. So in the 10 days, they will go over all the fields, but they will be working together to to help each other and to motivate each other at that moment. You can't get bankrupt in an African village, or the whole entire village goes bankrupt. That's of course possible when it's not raining. The entire village goes bankrupt, but one person can't go bankrupt while the others are doing fine. And that's definitively impossible. There's no state social security, nothing, but they help each other as far as possible.
Yeah. But it also makes a problem, because you're obliged to help each other also when the other one does stupid things.
And you can't also say, let's say, I want to save some money to later to buy a donkey and a plow, because then I can work quicker instead of doing it manual. Because when you're saving that money for the donkey and someone of your village has a problem, you have savings, so you have to share.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, no one goes bankrupt,
But nobody.
but no one, if not everyone advances, no one will advance either.
Yeah.
Nobody needs something, because everyone has the things what you need to earn when there is some money saved or some things to use, or
Yeah, you will all help each other, but no one will be able to buy the donkey and the plow, because someone will always have a problem somewhere, and then you will have to. Yeah, it's like a lot of things. It has positive sides, but also, of course, sometimes it's very hard to advance.
And when you went down to help them people, was it possible to buy a truck or something that was that possible, or was not possible to get something, a car or?
We were helping them with the first thing of the project, like our last project we worked together. The village, they had to come to our head office, so they had to send 2 people. So they had to put some money together to buy a bus ticket to send to people, and they had to hand over a letter that they requested help. So they had to find someone in the village who could write. So they had to organize themselves already. And then what we would do, we would go to the village and see if it was a suitable village. But what we actually did, we were helping together with them, we were building water dams.
Okay.
So they were working, and as far as possible, we calculated actually how much money they earned kind of all together in the village. And we would ask for about 10% of their earnings of that year. And we would ask them to do all the work of building the dam. And then we would build a water dam with them, so they knew the technology, because they did all the work themselves. So we didn't pay them for it, because they got the water dam in return. Mm-hmm. And then when they had the water dam, they had water the entire year. And with that money, they started to buy water pumps, plows, all the things you need, but they could decide themselves what they would do with that money. Mm-hmm. So we never gave them stuff. We gave them infrastructure, and they could produce themselves crops, and they could sell, and they could decide themselves what they would do with the money.
Wow. And do you have still contact to these villages, or?
With some of the villages, yes. You can also still see on Google Maps, for example, where the dam was built.
You can see it's green there.
It's a green spot in the Sahel. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can see the green spots where our villages are. You can see they're still green.
You are not in Holland, in the Netherlands. You are not in Germany. We meet each other in
Slovakia.
Yeah, and very special place. It calls Lassi, this village or this area.
Yeah.
And you have a camping place there. How did it work that you come to this place? Because lazy in English is very cute. We said now we get really lazy. And then you said, no, it's not lazy, it's lassie.
Yes.
It's the countryside.
Yeah. It's the Slovak word for very rural countryside. But of course, we gave this name to our campsite because it's something you will remember, and everybody has a positive association with.
Lazy.
With lazy. But even we have some Slovak guests. They say, "Oh, it's so nice and lazy." Slovak guests. I say, "No, it's lazy." And you see them thinking. They say, "Oh yes, it's lazy." And even some Slovaks, they because going camping is a nice lazy activity, they think it's lazy. And of course, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. We have kind of a lazy place.
Yeah, but why Slovakia, or why is it was a good place, or how did you organize this?
We did not really choose a country. We just counted our money, and we started searching on internet where we could find a farm.
Farm, and we wanted also. We worked 10 years in different countries, and they were not always very stable political wise, and also security for anyone actually, but also for people from Europe, but also of course for Africans. So we were looking for a European country which was kind of stable, and Slovakia, it's a place no one has ever heard of, or a few people, which is always, we knew from Africa that if you live in a country no one knows, it's a good sign. It has not been
there's no war.
There's no war. There's no.
Yeah, Mali now is very.
Yes, because when we went to Mali,
Burkina Faso as well.
when we went to Mali, no one knew where it was. When we were in Holland on holiday, and they asked, "Where do you live?" We said Mali. They said, "Oh, Bali." We said, "No, Mali." But now everyone knows Mali, and it's not a good sign. It means there's trouble. There's been trouble.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. And we have the luxury of having a European passport, so we could leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could feel the problems coming. You could feel it. It was not it was not very complicated to see it coming. So we left before.
Yeah, it's very hard also because the culture, no, this culture is going on when the war comes. The traditionals and the things are falling away.
And it's hard. And also like we worked with farmers, and one of the basics they need is a kind of infrastructure. So they don't only need water dams, but they also need roads. If they have more food than they need, so that they can sell, so they have money for bad times.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's war and there are no safe roads and no safe trucks to bring your produce to the big cities, for the villages it's very bad when it's not stable, when it's not calm. And the little they have, they need stability. It needs to be a safe environment to survive in the years when it's not raining. So that's war, even if it's not affecting your own village, but when the infrastructure falls away, when there are no transport anymore, when the roads are not okay anymore, when you can't go to the cities anymore, it's very bad for the villages. And their villages, the rural areas, they're still the poorest areas.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. It's I feel very sad for people living there. They were already having difficulties, and then when it's not stable, when the government's not stable, when the currency, when the money is not stable, So by going back to Slovakia, so we were the lucky ones, the best thing I ever did was being born in Holland with a Dutch passport. It's the best decision of my entire life. So we could leave. And we left before problems started, and we wanted to go somewhere where it was calm and nature and
quiet
and a peaceful, happy place. Where you've been here, it's like it's a happy place.
We came there, and it was much to do, not lazy. It was not so lazy because everyone meets each other, horse riding at 9 o'clock, and then milking the goats, and looking at the sheep, and then looking at Uki and Trudy, the pigs. So our children are always painting Uki and Trudy.
Okay, Trudy. Okay. Now, I hope. Don't worry, Uki and Trudy are doing very
Well. Lovely.
They're gonna survive Christmas. They will be there next year again.
Cool. Yeah. Now I said thank you. I write the contact address from you under the line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you for the talk, and so at everyone, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
too. Frohe Weihnachten. Yeah. Yeah.
Danke.
Merry Christmas.